affecting so many of you and your families. We're continuing to watch it all. And thank you for joining us. I'm Leslie Foster. In just the last hour, Maryland's Attorney General announced he's trying to put an immediate stop to the mass firing of probationary federal employees. We're talking about people who were newly hired, promoted, or were put on a 1 or 2 year evaluation period. The legal action comes hours after a federal lawsuit was filed in a Maryland federal court by 20 attorneys generals against the Trump administration. Rafael Sanchez Cruz joins us now to kind of break down what this all means for people who've been laid off and looking for answers here, right?
Yeah, that's right, Leslie. So today's legal action is a temporary restraining order. Essentially, they would put an immediate stop to the firing of probationary employees and reinstate them. Again, this is temporary. Meanwhile, the court considers a lawsuit filed yesterday that argues that the Trump administration did not follow proper procedure to downsize. Now, through this lawsuit, they want impacted employees to be identified, to be reinstated, and to stop similar firings in the future.
Elon has been really teaching everybody.
The Trump administration's cuts to the federal government are being challenged in this over 50-page lawsuit filed in Maryland federal court.
I want the numbers, but I also want to keep the good people. We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up.
But that's not what the Trump administration did when it laid off thousands of probationary employees, according to the lawsuit.
According to public reports, the Trump administration has fired roughly 23,000 probationary employees over the past 3 weeks. Not because they were bad at their jobs or because they didn't do important work.
Maryland's Attorney General Anthony Brown argues that targeting probationary employees is a clear effort to downsize the federal workforce. If that's the case, Brown says the federal government is required to follow a series of laws and regulations, including notifying state governments 60 days before the layoffs.
Instead, he blindsided our state. A surge in unemployment will strain Maryland's resources, reduce our tax revenues while increasing demand for social services.
Without these procedures, Brown says the government can't ensure that military veterans are given preference in keeping their jobs. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine called this a war on veterans.
So the firing of this 30% workforce with disproportionate firing of probationers means that Donald Trump has now fired more veterans than any president in the history of the United States in just 6 weeks, and he's not done.
Look, members of Congress have told me all they have to fight these layoffs is the court system, but we're seeing some decisions by agencies favoring those who have been fired. This week, an independent agency in the executive branch reinstated almost 6,000 probationary workers at the Department of Agriculture. The Merit Systems Protection Board determined that the mass layoffs appeared not to follow the law for how the government can cut back its workforce, Leslie.
Yeah, we'll be watching this closely, Rafa. Thank you.